Okay, I think that's it. Penth Galen, Milas Tirith, Tonost, Lungalen, Irich, Linear. I believe that is everyone. Let me make a quick turn. Now, things might go a little slowly because I need to make absolutely sure that I follow what my advisors had set out for me to the best of my abilities. Did I already put you on very high? Yes, I did. Okay. Alright. I believe that's everyone. We're good. So right now our projected profits are at 4,134. Now, here's how the advisor of treasury sees things. We start off with 12,000 gold, and we try to maintain a safety pocket of 2,000 for emergencies. Okay? Agent funding will be 2,000 gold coins to be used over the first 10 turns of the campaign. In other words, the advisor of agents has 2,000 gold to spend over the course of the next 10 turns, and we will get to what he wants to do with that in a moment. Agent operational funding, in other words, bribing, is set to 0, so we can't bribe anyone in the next 10 turns. We can't recruit any generals in the next 10 turns. We have plenty of generals, so he did not give us any funding. Whoa, that's not the right button to hit. Did not give us any funding for hiring of new people. Basically, joining new nobles to the family. As you can see, we have a lot of nobles. That is not one of our big concerns at the moment. That leaves us 8,000 coins, plus the money we will be making. So, the 8,000 shall be spread out the first 2 to 3 turns, used exclusively for recruiting soldiers, while the profits we will be making the first couple of turns, around 2 to 4,000 depending on how many troops we deploy, shall be used on cultural development. Alright, so 8,000 goes to our military development, and let's go ahead and get started on that, shall we? Military development. Alright, in turn 1, in Minas Tirith, make everything besides boats. Everything that we can besides boats, of course. Let's go to the recruitment window. Come here. Come. Thank you. So everything besides the boat, which would be an archer militia, cavalry militia, and a Gondor militia, which will cost 342. Hang on, folks. I'm gonna have to do the math on this later. If there's an easier way to look at that, someone let me know. Like I said, it's been like a year since I played this game. Alright, so we make everything there. The same when Paleonger. Recruitment. Alright, so Gondor Militia. Marines. Alright. Assassins Diblas. So just that. Everything other than boats. Alright. So no boats there. And where is Dol Arm? Everything here as well. Gondor Militia, Gondor Archer, Cavalry. Alright. What's this? Spy. Alright, and that will be... I believe that's it as far as military recruitment goes. Hang on a second. I'm just reading over this real fast. 5 to 7 turns. Okay. Okay, so that is actually it for the moment as far as military recruitment goes. He didn't say to make anything in these other places. Let me make sure I'm reading this correctly. Okay, after perusing what he's written very delicately, I have come to the conclusion that yes, those are all the units he wants to recruit if I face some sort of emergency, perhaps some sort of invasion in the next 10 turns. Then I have permission to mass units in other towns. Until then, I shall not. So, at the moment, of the 8,000 they have been allotted, they have spent 3,700, or we have spent 3,724, which gives us a total remaining of 4,276 that will simply go into the military budget for the next several turns, emergencies, and watchtowers, which is something we have to point out. We did decide during the War Council that, and if you guys, like I said, if you're new to this, the War Council is, before each session, we're going to try and get as many advisors together as we can on a Skype call, which we will be recording, and discuss strategy, a War Council. We did the first one, and those will each be separate episodes, will be part of the Let's Play, and it is already up for you to watch if you want. We decided that watchtowers are very important. However, they are in the department of troop movement, and I did not get a response from troop movement as to how to use watchtowers. However, since we do have, if we have spare funds in the military budget, what I will do is, because I'm assuming he would want watchtowers, I will simply be making an appropriate amount that won't hinder the budget too much. Like I said, as we go along, I will have to do this less and less as the advisors get more comfortable in what they can and cannot do. So that is military development for the first turn. Let's move on to cultural development then. Our profits. Let's see. As far as cultural development. Considering the taxing I already mentioned, let's see. The profit we will be making in the first couple of turns, around 2,000 to 4,000 depending on how we deploy, shall be used on cultural development. So, if I'm reading this correctly, after the taxes we made, we're making a projected profits. We were making projected profits of 4,000, which means that I cannot go over 4,000 in this turn. I really hope I'm understanding that correctly. So, if we go to our advisor of cultural development, he believes that for the first 5 years, the budget, 5 years, that's going to be several sessions, but still, for the first 5 years, the budget of cultural development and building has been, for our fair and wondrous kingdom, should the king so graciously find my input worthy, shall be spent as follows. Walls! We cannot be too careful, my liege. The walls of our cities must be sturdy and tall enough to put even the fabled crafts of the dwarves to shame. Alright, I'm not going to read all of these. Just say that he is a very eloquent advisor. So walls will be the first priority. Then roads for the kingdom. He wants the kingdom to be connected by very strong and famous roads. And then farms. And then after walls, roads, and farms will come military building construction. So in other words, I'm to go to each city, and I'm going to go down that checklist. So for example, let's do Minas Tirith. If I can build walls, I need to build walls. If they already have walls, ballista towers. I don't know if that counts as walls, really. They aren't really walls, they're defenses. We'll have to sort that out. But for the time being, let's not say those are walls. So then, the next thing I would go to is roads. So therefore, I shall build roads. And in this first turn, I'm not going to go over 4,000. So, that's 1,600 right there. Next, let's go to Pelagier. Alright, Pelagier can't build walls, and cannot build roads, so therefore it shall build farms. Communal farming 1,600. Now, let's be smart about this. Since we only have 4,000 to work with, and I'll have to work with the cultural development developer on this, we want to try and, I would assume, pick cheaper things first so that we get more built in a shorter period of time. So let's go through the kingdom and see who needs cheap walls or cheap roads or cheap farms. Like for example, here, dirt roads constructing 800, so we'll do that. Alright. So right now, we're at 2,400 gold spent. Here's another 800. Here's land clearance, 800. But roads come before land clearance, so we shall do that as well. So we're at 3,000. And I'm wondering how to go about this. What should we develop first where? Alright, that's going to cost 2,400. That's going to cost 1,600. They don't need walls. 800. 1,600. Dirt roads there. I'm not so sure that it really matters. I'm trying to squeeze the most out of this, so to speak. And I believe that by building a road in a town that's more prosperous is going to generate more income than one that's less prosperous, and therefore that would be the better option to take. And then that is going to be it for the first turn, because we're at 3,800 now, so we shall save 200 for that faction. As you can see, this is going to be a bit of math work for me. So we're going to be making roads in Campbell, roads in Linher, road in one of these towns. I forget which one. I don't remember what town it is that I said I was going to build roads in. One of those towns. And of course, I'm thinking actually not doing roads in Minas Tirith and doing roads elsewhere, because that's going to be more expensive. So right now we're at 3,000, aren't we? No. Hang on, folks. 2,400 is what we're at. So let's go back over here. Build roads. Already building roads. Already building roads. Right now we're at 3,200, so we can build one more road if it's a cheap road. There we go. Okay. Now I believe that we have spent our budget a little more wisely. Everyone has at least walls, it would seem. Wall, 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 walls. Well, good. It's nice to know that we don't have to worry about walls so much. Now, of course, we'll be able to improve them later. But for the time being, everyone has walls. Very fantastic. And it looks like we're going to be building exclusively roads this turn. However, we're going to be building 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 roads. And that will be it for cultural development this turn. We have nothing left over. And we'll go back to them next turn. Now that we've dealt with cultural development and military development, and of course treasury, let us move on to spies. Alright. Now, for the first turn, I need our spy to head off east towards Osgiliath. Correct. This spy is going to try and penetrate western Osgiliath, because that is one of our first objectives that we're going to be taking. So he is to try and break into that city and give us a clear idea of what we're up against. Well, that works so well. Well, crap. There goes our spy. Good times. Alright, okay, and then we gotta begin training one in the western cities. So, I think Minas Tirith? No, cannot. What about down here? Yes, they can train spies. However, he wouldn't be able to train that turn. What about you? Yes, okay. So, we'll train a spy there, because he did want one spy trained in a western city. Ah, it's not a western city. What am I doing? That's an eastern city. So western cities.